What is your name and where do you live?
I'm Sebastian. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Not so far, 2 hours from here, from Pierre's.
Okay. And what type of Mercedes do you have?
Well, I have actually three old Mercedes. I have a 350 SDL W126 chassis, which is the one I brought here today, and Pierre is working on, and that's my daily driver. And then I have two older cars from the early 70s. I have a 280 AC 4.5, and I have a 250, which is a W114 chassis.
Why these particular models?
Well, I started with a 280, which is a 108 chassis. I always liked that particular one. I know many people find it very attractive, very iconic, and always wanted to have one of those cars. And that's the first old vintage car I had, and a few years ago. And that's how I also met Pierre, because I needed some help with the injection system, which is the first one of the kind. And Pierre is, of course, an expert on many things, and that's one of them. So he helped me to tune the engine, and that was my first car, and I still have it. I still drive it a lot, and it works really, really well.
What do you enjoy about driving these cars?
Well, it's really fun because they still drive. I mean, they're old, but they drive like almost a modern car. So you can drive them. You can do almost anything you could do in a modern car, and still, you're driving a piece of history. You see that people appreciate it when you're in the street and they look at it, and they compliment you, and it's so much quality and so much technology. These cars were well advanced of their age, so it's really interesting. I mean, I like not only all cars history as a whole, and this is like part of history, driving these cars. The 350, that's a W126, that's a more modern car. The mine is a 91, so it's the last year that they were made, and so that's more like a modern car. It's still 30 years old, but and that car, of course, drives almost like like any new car or better. Doesn't have all the widgets and electronics, but other than that, it's a perfect, comfortable car.
What have you learned by having Pierre service your car?
Well, I learned what he always talks about, the importance of the reliability of these cars if you service them, the possibility to repair them, because you don't rely on electronics and computers like in any modern car. So that's something that he always points out, and I totally agree. And also he points out the importance of being careful and preventive, as long as you keep up with the regular oil changes and all that kind of stuff, which is really simple. Down the road, you shouldn't have big issues.
Okay, how did you become interested in Mercedes Benz?
Well, again, it goes back to my interesting on the W108, which is so iconic. I always liked that car, and that's. I mean, I know the brand, of course. I've driven different cars, modern Mercedes, and but I always wanted to have that one, and again, it's a piece of living history, and that was my first experience with old Mercedes.
How do you feel that this particular Mercedes complements your personality?
Well, the one I'm driving now, my daily, the 350, I think I'm old school, so in some ways I feel like these cars match my personality in that way. And again, this is a very reliable car. It's very solid. It's you really feel like driving something that's not a breakdown, and I like that. Yes.
Okay. Well, Sebastian, thank you very much for answering our questions and being a part of our YouTube video today.
Sure, sure. Okay. Congratulations for the videos, and thank you.